I'm gonna give you niggas a red flag. Okay. If you slow, you go on the dating apps and what have you, or you're new and you just start getting on the dating apps, most of it is regulated by AI. First thing I want you to take note of is how the picture is taken. You either have people who have really fucked up photos, man, meaning like they're really low quality, like they were taken from like earlier life cycles, like the cell phone looks like it was um, took the photo and the photograph looks so old, like it belongs in like an obituary ad or whatever. These are spirits from other dimensions and what have you, that post up these profiles. Then you have the other ones where it's like it looked like they went to a mall or got some type of professional portrait for headshots. This chick works in the industry, got other things going on. Possibly is in the MK Ultra, hangs out on yachts or in some interdimensional place where it's a bunny house or a sex shop, more than likely. And what they do is mostly people that go on there, they end up in means of dead ends, meaning they don't make any type of necessary connection on these websites because most of it is used for information and intel. Like I said, when I come out to this park and I do these podcasts, they're like 15 minutes long. Within this window of time, so many people have passed me. And these are your neighbors and what have you, CIA, FBI informants. That's how individuals are able to survive past a recession and what have you. Most of your retail centers and places that never close down, Walmart, Hy-Vee, what have you, they are in connection with big block government agencies. And when you work for these corporations, you have to sign a release so that they can view onto your cell phone. So many of you guys, if you have children who are in high school and what have you, they go to a party, there's underage drinking and what have you, these photographs are on their cell phone, which is connected to big block government agencies, and these individuals trickle down and they live in these suburban ass places that's mostly polluted with fucking pedophiles and faggots that are married to women. Let me just be frank. What happens to these women? They get busted up and turned out. Their butterfly gets killed, right? And then they get hemmed up on drugs. They do the same thing to prostitutes in the inner city. All right? It's just worse. Okay? They have the finances and insurance to cover it because that covers your insurance system. Always getting doctor checks, updates, and things like this. This keeps the economy afloat. It's a work. Okay? So these are layers or structures of reality. All right? And women, all right, unfortunately, are in a place where they're in a fucked up situation. They really are. This right here is the grand stretch. During this phase in this dimension in time, this is where any niggas that's, behind on debt, having loan troubles, things of this nature, if you don't have connections and things to this or anything else like that, you drown. So this is where they reap, okay, because one of the archons is the dragon. This is where they reap souls, man. They get individuals to sell your soul. Now, let me clear up the sell your soul thing. While you're still in your vessel, your mind is under control. But when I say your mind, it's really brain control. So basically, here's what's happening. You are under brain control, okay? When they sign that contract, which is X marks the spot, means like the beast. And every time you sign a contract, whatever you sign, you buying a car, you getting a home or whatever, you have to sign by the X. Is that correct or not? And X is the mark of the beast. And we give our signature, and back in the day when slaves used to make their mark, they probably made an X, right? Malcolm X, make your mark. You understand? So when you get down into all of these things, these individuals that sign this contract and things of this nature, the individual that's signing the contract, the truth of the matter is that their blood doesn't matter. It's Christ's blood that matters. So the fact of the matter is what they sell is their body. So they end up in the skin trade or they fight. Okay? These professional fighters are under duress all the time also. Their diets are all wonky and fucked up. They get paid pretty good, but they got to pay a bunch of people. The training is mad expensive. To take Krav Maga, I think I was in California, but to take Krav Maga for a year's worth of lessons, it might have been 2 years. No, I think it was a year's worth of lessons. It was like $5,000. It was like they had two options. You could learn the real, if you learn the real stuff, he said, basically the real stuff, you want to, you know, there's attackers like knife fights, like if you have to deal with fucked up situations or something like that, that costs like $5,000 for a year. Now me, I'm in college. I can't do it. Right? And if you're not, if you don't do that, then you pay $2,000. And here's the thing: if you break it down into months or whatever, it's still expensive. But even with it being $2,000 for 1 year, okay, that's over $200 a month, right? So if you break that down into 4, what is that, you guys? What do you break that down like? 200. Okay, so you get like $50 a week, right? Now, in comparison to how much I use my cell phone, which I never use it, I don't have any friends or family, and taking these Krav Maga lessons and what have you, which am I going to get more value out of? Am I going to get more value out of using my cell phone? I am, and I'm going to use it more frequently, right? At that point, I better not get in altercations and call the cops because I don't have that type of money, okay? I don't have that type of money to spend all that bread, you know what I'm saying, on something like that, even though it's something very pertinent and it's something that I thought that it was something that I should have, you know, just a means, you know. But the fact of the matter is this shit is very expensive, or handle your own affairs. It's going to be one or the other. But most people don't have that type of money to come off all that shit. Not unless you got other practices and trades. And by the time that you afford those classes, individuals are curious about where you live and who are your affiliates and your friends. So even when you go to something extracurricular, as a martial arts class and things of this nature, these individuals are going to be wondering where you get your finances from. Especially if you're a minority that lives in the suburbs and you're around all of these other percenters. Most of them are blind. Most of them are physically blind if you're in this dimension that I'm in. They wonder where your resources come from. Their timings, the times that they go on walks, the times that they walk outside of their house, it always has a fit timing. Meaning, if you change times that you leave your house and you see the same individuals, then you know that these same individuals, something's going on with them. Either spiritually, whether it's mind control, or they are connected with those big block government agencies that trickle down into their finances, in which they have become slaves of Uncle Sam. And what they do is they follow around people who didn't sell out. All right? A lot of your parents got replaced trying to take care of their kids because the finances got so crazy that they were kind of forced into this life. And what they do is they cause the mother to do certain things and they cause the father to do certain things. Right? So you got to be real careful with your information. All right? That's your first form of self-defense. And like all these dog walkers are coming out now while I'm walking, talking about this. Like, this is the type of company I get. And it's just weird because it's like, you ever had a dog just come up in your face and put his wet nose and it's all snooty and things like that? And I love dogs and things like that. But damn, man, if it's not your dog, and you're not in the mood, this is how people do me. This is how people treat me here. They have the bizarrest behavior. I wish I could film this. They do the weirdest thing. The dog walks them, and it's like the dog is doing all the thinking for them. And they move like twigs, like little zombies. All these niggas around here is old as fuck. It's insane how old these niggas are. Look at some of these niggas in this world. Some of these motherfuckers in this world look like they live well over 100 years. Could walk fine, got all their teeth. Not in a wheelchair. Now look at all the ailments that the black man is susceptible to. It's no question that the secret is that everybody's trying to kill you. All right. So you want to do a couple things. You want to be protected with your information, and you don't want to fuck with those dating sites. But I also want to tell you this. This is what else I see. One of the big things with these dating sites and these dating apps is individuals want to know. I wrote this down. Date apps. People want to know who's real and what's real. So people got this thing on dating apps where they say like, I'm real and all this other stuff. And basically what this boils down to, I'm real doesn't, first of all, it breaks down into the AI, these fake profiles and things like that. It also breaks down, if you get the confusion of Babylon, the slang of individuals, okay, saying that they're a real person, that they really about it, right? Which has nothing to do with the context. And you know, the larger part of the context deals with AI, man. And by them admitting and saying, you know what I'm saying, who's real or what's real when they're trying to introduce themselves or meet other individuals, is this: they expose the fact that there is a whole fake world of fake profiles and AI set up, right, to capture your attention, knowing you've never seen any of these individuals around town that you see these nice profile pictures of and things of this nature. And your profile picture is like basic because you just use your regular cell phone. You're not going to take a professional photo. And then this chick comes out from nowhere that you've never seen before, from this inner dimension. Maybe they cross through a wall or a portal and whatever. All of a sudden, this girl has always lived in your town, has a history, things of this nature. She's coming from the deep state. And that date is so that she could sell herself into you or your life, or to get information that is useful and valid to the entire hive mind, because they practically share a brain or a mind. Okay? So all your information is going out. It's not just going out to one person. When you're talking to one person that's like pretty much they're under mind control, it goes through an entire pyramid scheme of minds that all have your information now. And now you're like a target of multiple people. Well, this happens throughout your life, whether you're dealing with dating apps or not. But the point I want to point out for proof that corresponds with what I'm talking about is on these dating apps, when they say, you know what I'm saying, like who's real or what's real, like, or when they have to say all the time things such as I'm real, then what they're actually telling you is that the site is filled with AI. And how did they find you out of all those AI apps to pronounce themselves as being quote unquote real? What real person says I'm real and I can't cross the street? This is the suburbs, man. I can't cross the street because all these cars start coming. The minute I cross the street in this digital world, and I can tell you it's digital, because the moment, anytime I get to a street crossing and streets that's dead all day like this, when I tell you I have to, nobody comes up and down the street. Nobody goes on walks. Nobody goes outside ever, except for me, because I'm the only living being, right? This is another dimension. Okay? So when you get into a dimension where you feel isolated, you lose all your friends, you're a social person, things of this nature, what has happened is you have ascended or moved up. This is what they talk in New Age. The reason why I don't know is because I don't fuck with frequencies or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, what happens is your deliverance by God, he delivers you out the world whole. It's not a situation in which you get out of this circumstance or that. That's linear and things like that. God is like, if he drops down and he has like a hook, right? And let's say he hooks on to, you know, one of your belt loops and he starts pulling you up through the different levels. And if you come up too fast, you'll get the diverse disorder. You understand what I'm saying? When divers, when they sink to the bottom and they dive up, what happens with them, if you come up to the surface too quickly, air bubbles will start to get trapped inside of your bloodstream. Now, if one of those things pops, you're dead. You're going to get extremely sick on the way to that thing popping too. It is one of the most horrendous deaths there is. Okay? So, but this is what's going on. In this dimension, most of the individuals you see, it's all running on some autonomous, homogenized, or harmonized frequency. This is when you see in the Matrix, when Neo starts following Morpheus, and all the people starts bumping into his shoulders, because he was saying all of these people are sleep. Neo, meaning sleep being the cousin of death. Going back to scripture, all these people are dead, right? And they don't know it. And they only work for a system. So when you think of systems and autonomous systems and your central nervous system that was in James Bond, where the villain worked for the CNS, your central nervous system, it's information that you cannot escape. And these entities live in interdimensional worlds and realities that's directly connected to you. So what they do is they swarm you. Okay? If your individuals start rising up, have any true importance, then that deep state, which lives in your flesh or in the earth, which is as a dimensional piece or one, right? They start manifesting your reality. You start getting niggas coming out of portals and all sorts of shit. That's the truth.
All right? That's the truth. I don't know where else you're going to get it. Some people will start talking, but it's going to take someone to get the ball rolling first. Okay? Individuals are paid not to speak, and if they do speak, they're paid to lie. But if all you tell is lies, and you keep the truth a secret, but you have to remember five lies for each truth you keep secret, what's going to happen to your mind? It's going to get erased. You're going to become brainwashed. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have to remember the lie. And for everything you don't say, there's like 50 things you can't say that's around that one thing that you can't say. You understand what I'm saying? So every time I come around individuals being an open book, having an open heart, they on the ropes and shit. They feeling threatened. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't understand what I say about the pliability in this way, hey man, they are sensitive in this way. With all that white skin, they don't have to do as much convincing because they just get on their knees, but not to pray. Right? This is how their economy works, and their economy works differently than the ideal of the black man. And all these different tribes have set up for themselves economies, but the black man has been kept destitute and down. And even in their progression of Masons, extreme cheating and cutting them down. Right? When you see Mountains Between Us with Idris Elba and that other white lady on it, man, just look at the cover. It says the whole thing. You understand what I'm saying? And the Mountains Between Us is world's economies and things of this nature. And all of this was done to protect the so-called women, all right, from the black man, which every race knew that at the onstart of this thing, that the black man is a straight man. Our orientation is directly straight. Their orientation is bi. So then they get into preferences. So when we talk about doms and the dominant factor being black men, their whole pros is to make the black man weak. Right? Those buff dudes made sacrifices. Those alpha males made sacrifices that are minorities that are in Hollywood and things of this nature. Major sacrifices in order to put on that persona in the big screen. But in order to put on such a tough state, you have to be broken down. All the way down. They take everything. And they're always aiming for your masculinity. So the individual will have to endure mass amounts of like torment and blackballing. Same thing The Rock got when he was trying to come out with Black Adam. People don't know the whole story. All right? The nepotism and the things that go around Marvel, I don't got to say too many things. It's hella Walmart. It's hella LGBT. You know what I'm saying? It is. When it comes to the Starfighter thing, I got to have my own shit. Because Allguyer's not going to like me, and Osley's not going to like me, because I keep it 1,000,000% real. You understand what I'm saying? And they don't know where I really come from. It's way beyond what they think. Dominion isn't even my real form. I've been around, you guys. I'm an old 13 years old. Jason Bourne, all that shit, when I came down here, I whooped everybody's ass so bad in the first game that they felt bad, so I just let them beat me. That's your crucifixion in heaven. All right? I let them beat the brakes off and do all sorts of things, erase my memory. I felt bad about it, even after they beat me. It's like, damn, I crippled these niggas that bad. Literally hurt. I'm not talking about talking. All right? So that's why I came down this game. When I say I don't remember certain things, I took it. I took it just like that. When you have Christ come down here and he did that thing, all right? That's what I had to do. The first game, for no reason, for winning. Now, the whole system is set up against me. It cheats and things of this nature. But I'm trying to stop you young brothers and sisters from getting hurt, exposing your family, putting out your information out there to these individuals you don't know. Every job you go on, no matter how much protection you got on your computer, you have to fill out an application or put your address or your phone number, and way too much work history experience over a number of years for you not to be tracked and found. Everything is systematic as in a body. All right? When you unplug from the matrix, you move different. All right? The matrix will always see you as a fault or a foreign body. Okay? They always find fault with you because the system believes that it's perfect, and it's not. The system is fallen. We read that in Genesis. All right? So I gotta tell you, man. I gotta tell you, I've had some adverse thoughts and some frustrations. I've been through some torments. It's real bad these last couple of days. And I just kind of felt like upset with the Most High God, because I'm like, how could he leave me here like this? I go in and out of that shit. But when I come here and I record y'all, always what come out of my heart is the Most High God. Even when I got nothing left. You know what I'm saying? I stand for that. I stand on that. Jesus Christ is my elder. I know him personally. All right? Personally. Met him in real life. Seen his face, heard his voice, everything. All right? Been to heaven before, if that's heaven. I'm not sure if it is, because there's other spots inside of there. It's a big place. But this place that we're in right now is inside the Heavenly Father's living room. Okay? This is... Yeah, I can't say it's in a paperweight. It's in a huge pyramid. And that pyramid they call Lucifer. All right? But hey, man, that's what it is. And the warfare that was from earlier and before times is carrying on now in the earth. A little niggas getting away thinking they're going to sell a little bit of drugs. And the fact of the matter is you dealing with spirits and entities that's lived on earth for far longer than 120 years, because they are not mortal man, and they are not something that God made with his hand. And they want your babies, and they want to elope with you. You're smart, you got your shit together and things of this nature. And by that time that God puts you together, because he has to mask your abilities. These niggas really ain't smarter than you. That's the truth. But he has to mask your ability so that you can slide past this thing and experience this life and see what it is and everything like that. Because the minute they find out that you're smarter than them, more capable than them, a quicker learner, better than them in every type of way, then what's going to happen is they want to put your dick inside of them. That's the truth. Because what they want is they want some of your genetics to get your intelligence and your the different things that you have spiritually. They want to gather it physically. And so there's that warfare on that level. The spirits against the flesh. All right? Now, I'm on the spiritual side. I'm a spiritual brother. But I can get down a little bit too. You understand? I ain't that old yet. All right. Then they had the flesh side. Now, you either love your hero because his behavior, how he conducts himself and acts, or you love your hero for the way that he looks. And just like in the garden in Eden, the fruit looks good to eat. And this is why many of those young ladies that do ASMR is looking very sad, because they were trapped. You know what I'm saying? They were trapped. They were deceived. It was fucked up like that. A lot of these young ladies never been to a public school or college or things like that, because, dude, they would be married or something. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. But what they do is they keep them roped off for their beauty and their looks, and they send dudes into that room and they give them therapists to keep their mind together so their brain stays froze out in a certain state, and they just have dudes duck them out in there and create babies. They do this at underground Walmart, all sorts of shit. This is where you get the populace, the individuals that you've never seen before and things like that. It's like a reserve factor. That's what they do. And so they leave them, they'll give them a house and everything, and they'll be a corporate citizen and raise children of some dude that they really don't like, that's super gay, because they have an idea of how they want society in the future. All right. But the individual will be not of human genetics, so, they'll have bigger bone structures and things of this nature. They'll have those things, right? But the fact of the matter is, with all of these types and what they do to their women and things like that, this is barbaric and hallmarks of the old school. These are barbarians, cavemen. These are savages, the same ones that call the Indian savages. They still live like that in this world, in this economy, and every cop turns a blind eye. But we got so many brothers in jail, don't we? Meanwhile, I'm eating fruit snacks for Thanksgiving. I don't even want Thanksgiving shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, these people here in this realm, once you start ascending and things, the microwave and radiation that I was feeling yesterday, and then I think the day before that in my mother's car and things like that, what was really going on is that Daystar was keying up, all right? And the energy was transferring me into a higher dimension or realm. And I did not know that. I did not know that that's what was going on. For a lot of us, we thought that it is TI information and things like that. But what these are is actually, if you cross over, these are ascension symptoms, which I found when I was trying to figure out ascension. I was like, all these things look terribly bad. All these symptoms. Why would you want to ascend? But the fact of the matter is, you have to, because if you stay at the same spot in the centrifuge, okay, you're going to get drawn down to the bottom. You're going to drown. Okay. So as you're ascending up and people are going down this thing, you'll usually be pulled into atmospheres where you're separated from your friends. You'll be alone, and you'll be around a bunch of individuals, and you'll think to yourself, so it looks like mayonnaise left out in the sun too long. You know, it's that zombie-esque type of vibe, like, you know, left out in the sun too long. It's like it's what I call the zombie genre. Everything looks normal. It's just so that it's not, kind of. Okay, it's not right. Something is right. You got a girl. She got everything that you want, but you don't know what it is by looking at her. But it's just something, and it's so strong. It's stronger than everything you see. That's just off, just wrong. Okay, these are the worlds that you'll go through. All right, for a long period of time. But God has got you. All right, that's the truth of the matter. There's angels that do watch over you and look after you. But for all this shit down here, this is the flesh. This is the ego side of the game. This is the portion of me that I suppose you could find fault and everything like that. It gets mixed down into a trash layer, and this becomes the psychology of individuals that take those deals and sell out. And so therefore a nation is brought over you, okay, to rule over you. And not until you come into your spiritual inheritance, and God even still has to conceal it. But when you start shining, you can't get rid of these things. And they don't come out normal. They come out like roses or ants. They just got to get in your face and in your business. They got to see you. And you could tell by their eyes that they can't see. Okay? They use their dog senses in order to sense for them. So you got to kind of help them out. All right? People could see in this town before, but I had to strike the town blind. Just like they did in Sodom and Gomorrah. I asked God once. It was that bad. I had to protect my ass, man. If I need to fight the time, I will. But the fact of the matter is this. I'll just call on God, bro. I don't know why. My brain works. You feel me? So I say this with love, man. If you're having these symptoms, man, hang in there. Peace and blessings be with you. And, yo, with any of those apps or dating sites and shit like that, hey, man, it ain't nothing but bad information and lies on there. All right? Ain't nobody telling the truth on there. Ain't none of that shit real. All those profiles, it's a bad situation from the beginning to the end. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you're going to get on there and troll and fuck around, go ahead, knock yourself out. But I don't know if you really want to meet any of those niggas, because they could have a spirit from Deep State in there. You seen that movie with Vince Vaughn, and he was playing like it was like a young girl, like in high school, but she had the spirit of a serial killer, and it was Vince Vaughn. And they did like a body switch. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you're dealing with in this world. The fruit looks one way to the eye, but it's completely not. Everything else is done. Everything else is destroyed to some extent, right? With these ASMR artists and sometimes on the campsite, I see a glimmer of hope that somebody's in there. But a lot of times, man, I don't just sit down at that computer. I don't sit down there, which it really is that much, like generally once a day. But like yesterday, I sat down and I remembered, like, there were certain individuals I had kids with. You know, there was a young lady named Rebel-Hearted Rita. In Hyperia, we have kids. Now, I don't know if her consciousness is connected to the same one, because she's under the program of Whitney, okay, MK Ultra. But we have kids together, and she's a sweetheart, man. She got a good heart, man. But this situation on the camera, when I see this shit, I'm like, it starts to fuck with my head. Okay, it starts to fuck with my head. I pray to God. I say, come on, get that one out of there, because they're doing something to that. That one's going through it really bad. I can see in their eyes. I can't sit there. I can't Shark Week and bypass or be tone deaf or trauma deaf these young ladies that look like they're traumatized and going through it, because I know what those places is like. It's like them underground places in China, and they just got mattresses lined out in a room. If you ever seen Suicide Club, all right, there's foreign film where they just have mattresses on the ground and people laying on it in plastic. That's how these places are. All right. And they all live together. And they do these campsites and things of this nature. But sometimes you see girls in there that's pretty young. You got to be careful with these web pages and things like that. And you see all different sorts of types of shit, man. And it's not right. When I see them, like, it looks like they recently cried or they're about to cry or it looks like they just got thrown in there, you know, I try to pray it up, but I try to pray for everyone, man. That everyone make it. But this world right here, this world is off than a motherfucker. It's so off, it's strange. Peace and blessings with all of you guys. I'm out.